Fame Game.
You've got to hope for your future. You've got to have stars in your eyes. When you're looking further than a rainbow, all you see is blue skies. Let them know your name in the fame game. In the fame game, you can do the same. In the fame game, in the fame game, let them know your name in the fame game.
Hello and welcome once again to the Fame Game. This is a live talent show and my job is to be completely impartial. But I can't help telling you that after a series of very interesting votes last week, I reckon tonight we're going to have some very closely fought contests between some really high-quality acts. I'm not saying which, but I think there are 3 or 4 of them that are not just good, but are likely to become very, very famous indeed. Hopefully very rich, too. But it's not for me to decide, because up and down the country we have our 1,000 special voting viewers sitting ready with their digits poised. Remember, they vote for the acts they like best by pressing buttons like these alongside their special TV sets. These votes travel from their homes to our host computer in London, where they pause, wash, brush and change before shooting up faster than current interest rates to our studio in Manchester. The votes, as they come in, appear as percentages on our screens like this, up and down. They do a complete vote, apparently, every half second. And from our niece, apparently, who wrote to me this morning, definitely, she said there are no votes in northern Scotland. Well, I can tell you, there are lots from up there. Oh, and if anybody comes into your room halfway through, tell them not to press the infrared red thing, you know, the remote control. When I say vote 1 or 2, it could get onto BBC 1 or 2 and we could be in terrible trouble. Right, let's get on to the show. We start, as usual, with music. In a moment, Steve Myers, who you saw briefly last week, nevertheless, from the reaction I've been getting, he obviously made a big impact. He's from Tottenham, but then nobody's perfect. He'll be singing On the Wings of Love. But first, for the 3rd week running, our current singing champion, this time with a Cliff Richard song, The Only Way Out, it's Dennis Walker.
Came a time in my life I had to be free from all of the lies that used to be me, and the only way out is the only way in, and it's you. I've been wasting my time, but not anymore. I've been through the maze and it led to your door, and the only way out is the only way in, and it's you. I spent a lot of time at the crossroads, getting that lonely feeling inside. Suddenly you stopped the rain, you changed the view, now everywhere's leading to you. Let's get this thing going, let's move it along. Let me do all the things I've been missing so long, and the only way out is the only way in, and it's you. I've spent a lot of time at the crossroads, getting that lonely feeling inside. Suddenly you made the rescue, you pulled me through. Now let me do something for you. Let's get this thing going, let's move it along. Let's do all the things I've been missing so long, and the only way out is the only way in, and it's you. 'Cause the only way out is the only way in, and it's you. Yes, the only way out is the only way in, and it's you. Just smile for me and let the day begin. You are the sunshine sunshine that lights my heart within. And I'm sure that you're an angel in disguise. Come take my hand, and together we will ride on the wings of love, up and above the clouds. The only way to fly is on the wings of love, on the wings of love. Only the two of us together, flying high, flying high upon the wings of love. Yes, you belong to me, and I'm yours exclusively. And right now we're living we're flowing like a stream, running free, traveling on the wings of love. On the wings of love, up and above the clouds. The only way to fly is on the wings of love. On the wings of love, only the two of us together, flying high upon the wings of love, of love.
Well, that was Steve Myers singing the Jeffrey Osborne song On the Wings of Love. Now, Dennis and Steve are the same ages, and I worked out that when you add them together, it adds up to my age. So remember, when you're voting, these are two very, very talented 11-year-olds. OK, if you wish to vote for Dennis Walker, who sang The Only Way Out, would you press button 1, or Steve Myers On the Wings of Love, button 2. And voting viewers, would you vote now, please? All over the country, they're pressing their buttons. They're a complete cross-section, we're assured. All different types of people, different tastes. At the moment, it's Dennis Walker they're going for. Now get to your buttons, people. Quickly. Iris in Surrey, you haven't got your button yet. And the winner, again for the third week running, is Dennis Walker. Well, Dennis, looking very, very relieved there, because you knew you had some very strong opposition from Steve.
Yes, very much indeed.
Is it true you had a go on holiday once and got a job in Mallorca?
Yes, that's true, actually, Tim, yes. Did the summer season. Yes.
So it's worth always having a go. Let's find you a music challenger for next week. And from our auditions, we've shortlisted 4 groups. They're very different in style, and what I find particularly cheering is that all the songs are original and composed by the bands themselves. Have a listen.
I'll tell you why. Just hanging around, having some fun, too cool to have to try. The better the boy, the better the lover, so the good girls say. The tougher they're gonna get a little bit harder, so baby, let us play. I'm hanging on the edge and I ain't gonna wait for you. Got to drive myself, too young to fight too neat. Jump Kill yourself with responsibility. Fight back. Houston, no right from wrong. Houston, no night from day. Whatever you thought you had, just let it slip away. There are no rewrites to have. There's nothing that you can say. Whatever you thought you had, just let it slip away.
What a very, very difficult decision. 4 groups there are going to challenge Dennis. Who would you like to see live in the studio next week? Is it going to be Rhythm Hits The Ice from Warrington, Graffiti from London, Gilt Edge from Manchester, and 747 from Tyneside, who want to have a drink in the Rovers' return with Hilda Ogden? Get her to pay. That would be the big thing. OK, voting viewers, are you ready to vote? Would you vote now, please? Who is the group? Graffiti have gone into a very early lead. Gilt Edge and Rhythm Hits The Ice. Let's have a votes for the others. Graffiti and 747 fighting out at the moment. 747 is flying fast at the moment. It's very close between those two. Oh, ooh, dear. Now, who is going to... It looks just... It's 747 are this week's winners. Well, our commiserations for Graffiti, who are very, very close vote, but we look forward to seeing 747 in the studio next week, up against Dennis Walker. Now, for comedy. First, a man who survived the electronic hook section in our first show and had immediate results. But when he walked into his bank on the Monday morning, the staff applauded. Now, that really is fame, I reckon. And here is the famous Barnaby.
I know you've noticed that actually today everybody's trying to lose weight. We've got to do in our family. My sister, 19 stone. She hasn't got elastic in her knickers, she's got that swish curtain rail. Just married a fella called Albert, he's only 2'6". Somebody put him up to it. Doesn't run in his family though, he's got a brother, 14'2". He went for a job last week as a lifeguard. The fella said, "Can you swim?" He said, "No, but I can paddle out a long way." Actually, he had American descent, his family. Have you noticed the Americans are always taking the mickey out of the English, aren't they? You can always tell Americans, all government trousers. This American decides to try one of our transport cafes. You know the place, 4 bowls of soup before he realised the roof's leaking. He sat there, the waitress came over, beautiful speaker. "Yes, what do you want?" He said, "I'll have a sheep's head, lady." "Sheep's head, 1. He said, "Just a minute, ma'am, I want it American style. Take the brains out." Actually, I used to be in a double act up until about 7 years ago. We had to split up for a while. We did some marvellous clubs together, though. We did a place called Antarctica British Legion affiliated. Freezing it was, even the one-armed bandit had a glove on. With nothing to do during the day, we decided we'd go and shoot a few polar bears. There's me, rifle, telescopic sights. Berkoway gets me sights on the wrong way around it. It's like looking the wrong way through a pair of binoculars. I'm looking at this polar bear, it looks like it's miles away to me. I'm going, "You! Kiwi!" All of a sudden it went. I thought, I'll get out of this one. I grabbed hold of it, gave it a quick tweak on the bot. When it let go, I was off. I turned round and there's a polar bear going, "You!" Actually, you've noticed that I'm from Blackpool. They've just built a slide, actually, at Derby Baths in Blackpool. We've got a lot of Chinese there. Got some lovely sayings, you know, the Chinese. I mean, the Chinese say that the owl is wiser than the chicken. I mean, let's face it, you don't find many Kentucky Fried Owls knocking about, do you? I gotta say goodnight, God bless. Have a nice thought for somebody. See you again sometime. Bye for now.
That was Barnaby with his Kentucky Fried Owls. Ooh. They are actually delicious, though rare. And to challenge Barnaby, the longest survivor of last week's electronic hook, a man who's had to travel all the way from Manchester to be with us tonight. Mind you, he took the pretty route via Salford. It's Dave Barron.
That's appreciated, very nice. Good evening, muchachos. Salam. Oh, it's live television, this, you know. I must tell my mum to turn the immersion heater off. There it is, OK? It's just saved 10 pence. I once went for a proper job, you know. The foreman says, can you brew up? I said, yeah. He says, can you drive a stacker truck? I said, how big's the teapot? Hey, it's nice to travel. I went for a job. I went fishing. I went fly fishing. I caught a 6-pound blue bottle. A quick impersonation of the one-armed fisherman. It was that big. We have now the mating call of the giant clam. Come here, you. The one-legged horse. Clip. That's a pigeon coming from the chippy. Hey, what about Reagan on telly? He thought the Russians were attacking with SAM missiles. He says, get the wagons in a circle. I mean, what chance has Reagan got? Did you know his father was the lookout at Pearl Harbor? There's a poor fella there, Piccadilly, blind, selling shoelaces. And every Friday night, a fella walked past, he put 25 pence in his box, and he won't take any laces. Every Friday night, for 3 years he's doing this, 25 pence, and he never takes any laces. The blind man says, excuse me, my friend. He says, are you the man you put 25 pence in my box, and you never take any laces? He says, ah, that's correct. He said, well, I've gone up today to 30 pence. I was skint, me, I was skint. I phoned the evening news. I said, classified, how much does it cost to sell something, please? He said, it costs £1 an inch. I said, it's going to work out too dear. He said, what are you selling? I said, 18-foot ladder. He's dragging me up, and I've not done 2 minutes. He's dragging me up. Well, good night, God bless, and have yourself a good life. Thank you.
Dave Barron with his one-legged horse that goes clip. I enjoyed that. OK, now, who do you want to come back, voting viewers, next week? Which of our 2 splendid comedians? Is it going to be Barnaby, button 1, or Dave Barron, button 2? What a difficult choice, but would you vote now, please? Early lead for Barnaby. Dave Barron supporters are slow out of their armchairs. Barnaby having a good vote here. The studio audience, I thought they got equal laughs. They daren't look, but the winner again is Barnaby. Well, they both made us laugh all day. Barnaby, you're going to tell us your real name?
No.
No? Well, that's a straight answer. We look forward to seeing you next week, and sorry to see Dave Barron go. OK, we'll be finding Barnaby a challenger in just a minute. But before we do, let's forget all about comedy and bring a little glamour into the show when we meet the ravishingly beautiful Sue Ellen-type comedian, Stan Boardman. You can say Sue Ellen now without getting sued.
Sue Ellen.
Yeah, but I can't get sued, you see.
Lovely. Anyway, I've been watching the football today.
Oh, have you?
Liverpool won.
Liverpool did not win.
Well, they drew 1-1. How did Derby get on?
They did the same as you. What's it like to be the second best team in a city?
Oh, Everton, eh? 4-0.
Yeah.
Never mind. Anyway, somebody broke into Derby County's trophy room last week. And they found Lord Lucan in there. He's sitting on Shergard.
Would you mean Shergard rather than Shergard? Yeah.
Anyway, look, this is the uke, what it's all about.
Right.
See, years ago, this was used in the music hall to bragging comedians off.
Not brag people off.
No, bragging them off.
OK, Stan will be back in the second half to explain his electronic hook. I think you probably know about it. He'll be back. Join us in a few seconds.
Let them know your name in the playing game. Let them know your name in the playing game.
Welcome back to the Fame Game, and to find a comedy challenger for next week, it's over to Stan Boardman with his deadly electronic hook.
Duke, thank thing. Well, what it's all about, Duke, the electronic... If you don't know what it's all about now, you'll never do. See, what happens when the voting viewers have pressed the button 1, right, the electronic hook comes out, right, and grabs hold of the comedian and hooks him off. And then we substitute him with another comedian, so on and so forth. until the comedian who stays on the longest is the winner and comes back next week for his own star spot. Now, don't forget, voting viewers, right? A comedian's job is very difficult, one of the hardest in show business, so give them a chance, OK? So here we are with our first comedian, all the way from North Wales, Ivor Richards, yes! Yeah.
Time sign! Now! Oh, lovely. Oh, it's all happened for me since last week. I've had me dole stopped and 3 bookings cancelled. I've lost all my friends. Even my hair's fallen out with me. Look at that. 2 Irish fellas on a bus. Paddy said to Mick, look at that cow with one eye. He said, where? He went into a shop. He said, I'd like a continental quilt. He said, a duck down. He said, I'd like a continental quilt. He says, you sell shoes? He says, yes. He says, try these on size 8. He says, they're too tight. He said, try them with the tongue out. He says, they're still too tight.
Well done, Ivor! And now, from Halifax, Billy Young!
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone here tonight from Blackpool? I've just come back from Blackpool. A friend of mine said, go out there, Bill, it's good for asthma. I was only there a week and I got it. I'm walking down the front till I went to the fish and chip shop. I says to the fella, can I have a bag of chips, please? He said, 18 or 25. I said, if you're going to count them, give the fish. I was queuing up out there to see one of them new 3-dimensional cinematoscope films at the cinema. I says to the fella in front of me, I says, what's this film called? He says, Witness to the Prosecution. I said, is it very realistic with a 3D? He says, well, a fella sat in the front row last week, got 12 years.
Thanks very much, Billy. And now a lad from north of the border, Scotland, Clem Allan.
Oh, hi. Do you like my hair? I don't. Gives me a headache. You watch it, it'll grow back in a minute. It keeps doing that. I went to a chemist shop. I said to the chemist, I want you to make something up for me. He said, we had Prince Charles in here last week. I said, you never did. He says, no, I just made it up. And then an old man came in and he said to the chemist, I want to get some of that powder that they used to put in your tea in the army during the war. The chemist says, what do you want with that at your age? He says, I want to stuff it up my nose and see if I can get the ideas out of my head. So it started to grow in there. Here's that hook. You keener on pressing buttons than Ronald Reagan.
Well done, John. Off your cuff. And now we've got, from Waddington, Jerry Hayden. Jerry!
Well, if they can vote for a brick, they can look at a newspaper. Says here, the gentleman who chatted up Mrs. Thatcher has joined Alcoholics Anonymous and has made an appointment with an optician. Says, following his outburst on TVAM, Alex Hurricane Higgins says he doesn't hate Steve Davis as much as he hates Terry Griffiths. An amazing situation, isn't it?
You want to see his face? No, you don't. And there's a lad all the way where you're from.
Long Sutton.
Long Sutton, and his name's Richard James. Your time starts now.
All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you, I had some terrible trouble getting to the studio this evening. I come on the train, got out the railway station in Manchester. Outside, got in the taxi cab. I said, Granada Studios, please. There's a woman driving the taxi. I said, by the way, darling, I said, before we go to Granada, I said, I've heard there's some houses of ill repute in Manchester. Oh, yeah, she said, there's a lot of them. I said, take me to one. She said, which one do you want to go to? I said, the cheapest. She said, you're in it. I went in hospital about 3 weeks ago, and like that, dripping with blood. The matron come rushing out. She said, cool, what you done? I said, the wife caught me in bed with another woman. She said, if you'd have been my old man, I'd have cut more than that. I said, look at that, you stupid woman. Of course, I'm divorced now. I never got on with the wife. I don't really know why. But,
Thank you, Richard. And now, from Liverpool, Paul Martin.
Thanks very much, Dan. Is that you? Thank you. Well, it's really nice to be here, because it's... Oh.
It's very nice to be here. That's all you got.
Because it stinks over there.
Don't worry about it. Listen, you're going to come back next week. We just run out of time, so give him a big hand. Paul Martin, you're back next week. Yeah. Good. Oh, dear. Now, it's very difficult because I thought the comedians were brilliant this week, did you? Yeah, well, there we go. We've got a winner, and it says Jenny Aiden from Warrington. Jenny Aiden, come on, where are you? Come on, Jenny! Hey, the man behind the paper. Marvellous. Anyway, you've got a challenge next week. You've got to challenge Barnaby, right? Yeah. Barnaby, that comedian's been on for a long time now. So, have you got plenty of gags for us?
No, but I'll buy another paper.
Good lad. So there we are, Tim. 2 fine comers again for next week.
Smashing, smashing. It's all getting very silly. Now, for our variety entertainment section. And it's a very interesting challenge this week for, in a moment, a most unusual ventriloquist. But first, last week's winners, they are break dancers, brothers Andy and Alex, along with ex-motocross rider Troy. They are the UK Warriors. Apparently they wax their clothes and the floor, so encourage your kids to break dance because you could polish your floor free. Good idea. And to challenge you, the UK Warriors, a former bank clerk whose first job was as a rabbit in a magic show. Perhaps I'm being stupid, but I cannot see why a bank should need a magic show with a rabbit in it. Perhaps it will all become clear when we see ventriloquist extraordinaire John Sparks.
All right. Now, a good ventriloquist can make anything talk. For example, I've got a house brick here. A very useful object, but it's a bit quiet. So let's ask it a few questions. Hello? Hello? How are you doing? All right. What do you do for a living? I am a brick. Well, you can't argue with that, can you? Now, a lot of people say to me, why do your lips move? I say, what's it got to do with you? But what it is, there are two schools of thought. There is the Welsh school, what I have founded, and the other one, where their lips don't move. What am I talking about? I will demonstrate with this biro. First of all, without moving my lips. Hello? How are you doing? Not very entertaining, is it? But with the Welsh way, you know where you are. Now then. Hello? Hello? How are you doing? All right, thank you. What's it like being a biro? Very nice, thank you. Nice, polite biro. That's what you want. And now we come to the difficult part of the act, because I am going to talk to something what is alive. What do you think I have got inside this matchbox? Zzz. That's right, viewers. It is a wasp. We leave him in the box because you have got a bit of a temper. Let's ask him a few questions. Are you a wasp? Let me out of the box. Answer the question. Are you a wasp? I am a wasp, but if I ever get out of this bloody box, I will bite you. Oi, language! I'm suffocating, never mind. Would you like to sing the ladies and gentlemen a nice little song? No. Why not? I don't know the words. Look! You are a wasp. Hum them. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the singing wasp. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very sorry to have to say that my assistant, Shenkin the Wasp, have died. But it's how he would have wanted to go. He lived for show business, and he died for it. I will go now and flush him down the toilet. Thank you very much, Bennett.
John Sparks has been sponsored by the London Brick Company, and Byron hopes next week to be sponsored by Rolls-Royce if he gets back. Now, who are you going to vote for? Is it going to be UK Warriors, the break dancers, or is it going to be John Sparks with his ears talking brick? Voting viewers, would you press your buttons now, please, and vote? Oh, it's absolutely equal. No, UK Warriors have slid up ahead of John Sparks, but nobody seems to be voting at the moment. Every half second, I'm sure they recount. Come on, voting viewers, get to your buttons, quickly. And the winners for the second week running are UK Warriors. Well done, John Sports, and well done, UK Warriors. What are you going to do next week?
We're going to do the story of breaking. It's got a theme to it this time.
They've got a theme to it. Next time, the story of breaking. Right, look forward to that. To find you a challenger for our variety section next week, we have 4 impressionists, 3 men and 1 lady. But one of the men is pretending to be a lady, and the lady is pretending to be 2 men. Confused you may be, entertained you will be.
Tell us, Your Royal Highness, what is it like being a frogman, actually at the scene of the raising of the Mary Rose and swimming towards a wreck? It must be a fantastic experience. Actually, no. No, don't. That was just a wee joke. Here's a quick impression. Prince Charles on his horse. Right now,
Thank you. Bobby, behave and introduce our next artist. You'll do for me, Cocky. I'm excited, too. I'm dead excited. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, right, Tomoso Canoso and his little compatriot, Bobita Bolero, would like to introduce you to... Oh, Tom, I forgot his piggy name. I'm filling up.
Oh, Dennis! Oh, as we lay off, man, you're always moaning and groaning. Will you get off my back, man? Again? Oh, well, I'm sorry, Dennis. Oh, but I've got a headache, man. You've always got an argue, have us? Oh, will you put a sock in it, Barry, before I put a sock in you? It's only aggressive, us, you know. It's only asking you know, look. Sorry, mate.
I wish you to cast your minds back to that fateful election day in May 1979, when Jimmy Young first asked me to form a government. And put to yourselves now the question you've been asking ever since. Why on earth did we do it? This evening, my government and I intend to answer that question. I have a list of my government's achievements since taking office, and I've brought it with me tonight.
Live, 4 impressionists. Now, obviously, they do impersonations of lots of people, but with Bradley Walsh, you remember Button One, he did Prince Charles. Hilary O'Neill did Cannon and Ball. Mike Osmond did the cast of Auf Wiedersehen Pet, which is on later tonight. And Steve Allan, who did our leader. Now, if the Oxford Dons are pressing their buttons, hasn't got a chance. OK, voting viewers, will you vote now, please? Bradley Walsh going into an early leads. Margaret Thatcher could be second loss of vote in the week. Oh, she's creeping up. Oh, it's going to be very close. Oh, is it going to be? Yes, it is. It's Margaret Thatcher who's coming next week. Well done. That was, in fact, Steve Allan, who does the voice of Margaret Thatcher on Spitting Image and several other voices. I hope you're watching. Please ring us after the show and we'll make all the arrangements for next week. I've never actually had an impression done of me. I hope you'll do one of me. But then, of course, I have no obvious mannerisms. Now, our 3 section winners will all return to the show next week. But also, we'd like to find the best of the best tonight because all of our winners of the week will take part in a special variety show that we're putting on at the Golden Rose of Montreux Festival in front of the world's top light entertainment producers. So it's a trip to Montreux in Switzerland where everything's paid for, even the campsite. So, voting viewers, who would you like to fly with us? Is it Dennis Walker, Button One, who sang The Only Way Out? Is it popular comedian Barnaby? Or is it the UK Warriors? And would you vote now, please? Dennis Walker, early votes for him. Barnaby creeping in there. UK Warriors voters, a tiny little bit at the bottom there. Dennis Walker is well in the lead. Looks like Dennis will be... Oh, no, yodeling in Switzerland. It's going to be quite close as Barnaby it's just Dennis Walker, ladies and gentlemen, is our winner of the week. Well done, Dennis. Will Dennis be our champion for longer than the miners' strike? Who knows? That's all, I'm afraid, for tonight. At the beginning of the programme, I promised you an especially good show, and thanks to all the acts, I'm sure you'll agree, we certainly got one. Things are really hotting up, and if you want to see if your favourite's getting even further on the Fame game, you know you can't afford to miss us live next Saturday at 6:30. Good night from us all here. Come on over.
You can do the same.